Quiero presentar con mucho orgullo a esa estratega de contenidos mundialmente conocida y es una consultora que da soluciones de contenido para LinkedIn. Así que, Wally, ¿quieres decir algo más de esta súper exponente?
Muchas gracias. Voy a intentar saludarla en vivo. Quiero saludarla que somos... Hi, Purna, do you hear me?
I can. Hi, it's so good to be here.
Let me try.
Con ustedes, Purna Virji.
Oh,
Bienvenida.
muy bien, gracias.
Hey, Purna.
Hi.
Hello, this is Wally saying hi. Do you see me?
I do. I see you. Oh, I see the room. Hello. I wish I was in Ecuador. I've been to Guayaquil before and I've loved it.
Amazing. You see, I see that you already know more than me about the country. It's amazing. Listen, we are very excited.
La mañana que tuvimos fue excelente. Hemos regresado del almuerzo y ahora vamos a darte la palabra.
I can't hear you anymore, so let me know when I can start.
No puedo.
Ah, awesome. Oh, hello. Ted, can you share my screen as well so my slides can be live too? Awesome. Muchísimas gracias. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you again. So I'm Purna from LinkedIn, and today we're going to talk about how you can boost your ROI via a full funnel content strategy. First, I have a question for you. How do you invest? And don't worry, I'm not talking about your stock market question. I'm talking about how you invest your time. In a recent survey at LinkedIn, we asked hundreds of marketers, people like yourself, if they measure their marketing on a longer than 6-month horizon. Shockingly, only 4% said they did. Then we asked, okay, how many of you are optimizing your campaigns in 2 weeks or less? Well, the survey confirmed what we all know, which is 75% of marketers are optimizing in essentially real time, right? Marketing is increasingly short term. This is important because what gets measured gets investment. And today, that is clearly bottom funnel. But you know this, sales cycles are often at least 90 days in B2B, right? So why are we looking at like 2-week periods? How can that be an accurate reflection of performance? A big issue in marketing today is that we invest too much in big data, but sadly do not think, measure, and invest in long data. Short-term campaigns with short-term measurements, yet they're going to appear to show that lead generation is delivering more sales. However, if you measure marketing over a longer time period, say 6 months or more, you start to see that brand building starts to deliver more sales volume, driving up net profits. Now, I'm not saying you need to do one or the other. You need to balance both. Just like in finance, the right strategy is to diversify your investment portfolio. The same way in your marketing, you want to balance your brand generation content and your lead generation content. And what is the best balance? Research from Bennett and Fields has shown that it can be as much as a 50-50% split. Now, does that sound like a lot to you? Well, don't worry. You do not have to get 50% tomorrow. Even 1 or 2% increases for more brand investment can make a big difference. Here's why. This is research from Google and Forrester, and it showed that 90% of the purchase process is completed before even contacting a vendor. Like 90%. Now, I knew it was a high number, but I didn't think it would be this high, right? Did it surprise any of you? I wonder. But it doesn't stop there. An average of 13 pieces of content are consumed during this process. What this means is that without helpful expert content, any organization can face a reduction in buyers. It's so important to have the content, and that's why I'm here today. The most successful marketers know that it's all about addressing their audience needs throughout the funnel. But the big question I get is like, okay, Purna, but what do I talk about? What are ideas? Well, I'll show you today. I'm going to give you all the ideas to help you. We'll start with top, middle, and bottom funnel. We'll break it out. And at the end, I have a very handy downloadable worksheet for you just for some added benefit. Okay, let's start with the top. You want to build brand awareness. You're trying to reach a new audience. You're trying to let the market know that you exist, that you're there, that you're a good option. And we need to do this over and over again, right? Did you know in B2B, especially, 95% of your buyers may not be ready to buy today? But to grow our brands, we still need to advertise to people who aren't in the market to buy now, so that when they are ready to buy, your brand is the one that they're familiar with. And that's when you want your brand to come up, is when they're ready to buy. Okay. Then the next question I get is, all right, Purna, should my content be rational or should it be emotional? To answer that question, you want to think about whether your customer is in the market, they're ready to buy, or they're out of market, they're not ready to buy yet. If somebody is in the market for a particular product or service, rational advertising is going to do really well. Let's say you were looking to buy car insurance, then you would be like, yes, I want to know what are the rates, how much does it cost, what does it cover, right? You want all those details. But if you're not buying car insurance right now, you're not going to pay attention to what those rational details. That's where emotional messages have a huge advantage, because they can be relevant and entertaining to buyers, both who are in the market to buy and especially to the buyers who are not yet in the market. And emotional messages are delivered in creative stories, right? They're good at reaching buyers and trying to build your brand within their memory, so that way you can come to mind at the time. How do we do this with content, right? Think of the 3 Ps. The first one being personality. Now, I can't stress this enough. B2B does not mean boring. And LinkedIn is not the suit and tie network anymore. Feel free to showcase who you are, showcase your brand personality. I love this example. It's from Statistics Canada, right? They're talking serious statistics and research, but they put in this classic Ross pivot. Wait, I don't know about you, but for me, like, I can hear this picture, right? Can you hear this in your head? Ross going pivot, right? It's fun, it's interesting, and it's still brand appropriate. Another one to look at is by sharing your purpose. You know this. Increasingly, we are seeing people voting with their wallets. I love what Diners Club Ecuador is doing here, where they're not just talking about their credit cards and their financing options. They're talking about their commitment to education, to how they're empowering teachers and students, right? It's more, it's about the company. You're showing them your heart. And that's what people want to get to know about a company. And yes, you'll talk about it from your brand point of view, but also from your people and their stories. This is one of my favorite examples of all time. It's from Microsoft's Chief People Officer, Kathleen Hogan. She's sharing an article, like so many of us do, talking about strategies for exhausted working parents. She also added her personal experience that, look, being a mom is my number one job, and it's so hard to be a single parent, and it's so hard to balance work and home life. This is Microsoft's Chief People Officer being so open and honest and showing people her heart. And now I'm going to think about, I'm going to connect, I'm going to feel this emotional bond and rapport with somebody who works at that company and then translates to the company too, right? You want to try to think about consistent branding and building these emotional hooks so that people remember and you keep coming to mind. That's your brand. Remember, 3 Ps. Next, you want to think about your middle of the funnel. Especially in B2B, this can be quite long. You want to nurture your audiences throughout, right? They may know who you are. They may not be ready to buy yet, but they're exploring certain things that can help them. One thing to keep in mind here is that you're not talking just to one person. Your decision maker is not just the person who signs the contract. There are multiple people in a buying committee. If you're trying to sell, a good IT software solution, you're targeting the chief tech officer, the chief information officer. But the CEO, the chief financial officer, the chief marketing officer, they may all want to weigh in. They may all help influence or guide some of those decisions too. And each of them is doing research throughout. You'll want to come up with content throughout that can appeal, that can showcase your authority, your expertise, and give them a reason to want to choose you. Especially important on LinkedIn, you might know this, our members visit LinkedIn to become a better version of themselves. They believe that LinkedIn is a way to invest their time, not a way just to kill time, right? They are there to learn and better themselves. So if you can come in, if you can be the person that's helping them by showing them how to solve their pain points and showing them how to ignite their passion points, you help them now, they will remember you later. And it's so simple to do. You probably have this content already in your company. One, you can help focus on their pain points, such as Randstad here is sharing tips to combat the problem of absenteeism. I want to call out, though, that I love how they presented this in the visual storytelling, the carousel format. It's easy to digest, it jumps out, especially on a social media network, right? Your image is your new.
Por ejemplo, Kineston es muy.
And then sometimes it's the simplest ideas that can get you the most click-throughs and traction. There is a Japanese company called Kintone, and they have offices across the Americas and across Europe. And what they did was they created a cultural guide to presentations in Europe, the US, and Japan. I mean, they are a tech company. This is not what they do, but they're sharing helpful information to give value and help their audience. Another example from Ecuador is BMI. They are an insurance company, and they're sharing a webinar on breathing and health, right? I love this. I keep saying this, right? It's like so karmic almost. You help them now, they will remember you later. You'll stick in their mind, and they'll remember you when the time comes. And it can also be as simple as answering the questions that are top of mind for your audiences, such as this one. Is your internal audit team prepared to handle a consent order? I don't know, it sounds quite serious. You want to prepare, right? Think about this. Why I keep talking about memory and how important it is to come to mind. Let's say you've gone to buy a burger and then you're feeling thirsty. You're like, oh, maybe I want a Coca-Cola, right? You're going to think about Coca-Cola and then choose them when you're thirsty. In the same way, like, how can you be the company that gets thought of at the time that your audience is ready to buy? And just think about this one simple shift. And if you only remember one thing from what I've chatted with you today, remember this one. It's never what do I want to say. Your content is always what does they, as in my audience, what does my audience want to hear? And if you take this approach, your content will align to what your audience is interested in, what they will want to consume, and you'll never run out of ideas because you keep hearing what do they want, you keep getting ideas for what to create. So it's really like win-win. Remember, your audience is already consuming content as part of their research. They're already on LinkedIn, spending time trying to better themselves. You can be the company that helps to better them. Okay, I have to keep remembering to talk slowly, so I'm sorry, translator, if I'm going very fast. But okay, bottom funnel, everyone's favorite. Everyone spends so much time on this, and for good reason. This is where we get all those amazing metrics that we love for, right? Our cost per acquisition, our click-through rate, all of that, our conversion rate. It's so easy to measure that a lot of people already spend a lot of time here. What's your audience thinking? They're trying to make a decision, and they are trying to recall, who do they know? Who do they trust? All right, I'm ready to buy. I'm in the market. Who can I work with? One small way to make your bottom funnel content more effective is to use social proof. What do I mean by that? Remember that movie, When Harry Met Sally? Anyone know what I'm talking about? I'll have what she's having, right? I'm sure you know that scene. It's social proof, and it has been a well-known trigger for years and years, right? Humans have always used social proof to help make their decisions. And we even did a study at LinkedIn to show that. The study that we had, called the Age of Agility Research, showed that buyers overwhelmingly trust sources independent of the company. They prefer to rely on word of mouth or recommendations from each other rather than hearing from the company itself. You can create excellent content around social proof to help you here too. The first one is through data. You can't argue with numbers. I love this example from Talkspace, where they're saying so simply, so clearly, hey, we can yield a 70% improvement rate in just 12 weeks. This kind of data helps to reinforce the trust. It really, if somebody is trying to make the case, or if they're doing the research to share with the final decision maker, they'll be like, oh, this company, they have social proof. This is what works. Maybe they have some sort of good proof points. Another one is any kind of industry recognition or third-party endorsements. And all of you get it at some point or the other. But we are nice, we are humble, we don't share it. Or if we share it, we'll only share it via organically. We won't promote these. Your organic audience is already your followers, and they are already invested in your brand. And that's great. Put it organic as well, but also run a paid campaign for this kind of incredible content. You won an award, you got a great recognition from somebody. Shout it from the rooftops. Make sure that your target audiences, your prospects, they also get to see this amazing win, and that will reinforce your expertise, your brand value in their heads. And third, help tell your customers success stories, right? In the same way, you don't need to say that, oh, we did such a good job. No, let your customers talk for you. Put it out there, put it with data, bring on that extra reliability, such as DoorDash here sharing how a customer experienced over 20,000 new orders by working with them. How can you make bottom funnel even more compelling? There's the power of one word. It can make a big difference. I'll show you two versions of the same post. They're exactly the same. The only difference is version B has the word marketers before the post. I'll give you a second to read it and just think in your mind, which one do you think performed better? If you said B, then you're 100% right? It just helped make it so much more relevant for the audience. Remember this, one word can make a big difference. Here we have Nordic Track that's trying to target LinkedIn employees. So they're like, hey, LinkedIn employees, use your Perk Plus, which is an employee benefit that we have, to come and buy or get a discount on our machines. Or we see Gartner here that says, hey, are you a new to role sales leader? Here's the report for you. If I was a new to role sales leader, you bet I would have downloaded that report and I would have wanted to read it, right? It's so relevant. You're like, oh, this is for me. You get me. You're talking to me. People love that. The other place where one word can make a difference that we sometimes forget is in your calls to action. Everyone says, learn more, because it's easy. But set expectation. Right? You are sending people to podcasts, to videos, to forums. Tell them, set the expectation for the commitment that's needed from them to gain the value that you are presenting. So watch this 10-minute video, listen to this 5-minute podcast, let them know, apply to our job now. Apply now if it's a job, better than learn more, right? Try to think about what's most relevant for your audience and put that in. So really separate yourself via proof points and make it relevant. Okay, I talked a lot and I probably talked a little fast. Let me recap, and then I want to leave you with the super handy worksheet. Top of funnel, what are we doing? We want to showcase your heart as your brand. Build your brand, build that emotional connection so that you build those recalls for people who may not be in the market to buy now. So remember the 3 Ps. You have your personality, you have your purpose, you have your people. In the middle of the funnel, you want to empower your audience with thought leadership, with resources, things that help them do better, be better. And at the bottom, you want to keep those cognitive triggers in mind, right? Social proof, well-known cognitive trigger. Highlight the data, show the endorsements, help them choose you, help showcase the why. And if you want to sort of build some ideas at home, I wanted to leave you with this template. It's completely free. Just download it. The link's on the screen. It's aka.ms/ff_worksheet, but you'll get this deck right after, so you can use it then. But apart from that, I will just say a huge muchísimas gracias, and please stay in touch. Hit me up on LinkedIn at any time. I would love to chat.